Hello and welcome to this or ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis National Carnival Committee's series of interviews with personalities for Sugar Mass 50. I am Mervan Thompson, and with me I have the reigning Calypso Monarch, Queenie G, or Gloria Esdale Robinson. Hello, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you, Mervan?
I'm doing well, and already she's behind the mask, which is one of her songs for this year's competition.
Yes.
So tell us about that song, Behind the Mask.
So thank you for the opportunity to interview with you today. I want to wish the Federation happy Carnival, happy Sugar Mass. It's 50 years, and it's quite an important time in our history and celebration of our culture.
Indeed it is.
Behind the Mask is a double entendre presentation, meaning it provides two meanings for my first rendition for the Calypso competition for this year. Behind the Mask seeks to look at the issues surrounding us having to wear a mask in these times. The first one, obviously, a mask is a protective device, and we've been asked by our health professionals, the World Health Organization, in particularly trickling down to our national efforts and our health department, that we ought to wear a mask as one of our protective devices during this time of the pandemic. But we are also seeing and recognizing from reports in the media that other things have been happening behind the mask, for which, through my song, you're going to see that they will be unearthed through the rendition. So we are recognizing that there have been instances of abuse. Women, children, men, abuse of all kinds. Others are hiding other issues for which they do not wish to be unearthed. And based on what we are doing now, being under the protective cover of a mask, we are finding it somewhat easy to, in essence, get away with it. So my rendition will focus on the double meaning and what are we trying to unearth from behind the mask.
So your song essentially almost touches on some taboo or topics that we would deem taboo in our local societies.
Yes, my dear.
And that's one of two. What can you tell us about the second one?
Well, in time to come, it will be revealed what the other one is. And pay special attention to my words. In time to come, it will all come to the fore, and you will come to understand what my second selection will then focus on.
That will be the surprise stinger for this year's competition.
I believe so, and it will have everyone singing the refrain, for sure.
I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So, Queenie G, outside of being Queenie G, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're no stranger to the stage. From the memorabilia we have here displayed on the table, we see competition dates dating back to 1993, 92, that's
yes.
The earliest.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about that.
Well, yes, I'm no stranger to the stage. Carnival has seen me on and off throughout its history, starting with the Talented Teen competition, that pageant, where I represented Sandy Point High School.
That's where it started.
As a teenager, yes. my alma mater, Sandy Point High, now called Charles E. Mills Secondary. So I represented them, and I was able to win the competition. I then went on to represent St. Kitts and Nevis in the Miss Caribbean Talented Teen during the time when we did not have Carnival. In 1993, that was one of the only years that we did not have Carnival. In 1993, but the Haynes Smith Youth Club pushed ahead, and we were able to host that competition, and of course, through my representation of our country, we emerged the winner.
And when you started singing, was it something that you enjoyed doing, or was it one of those sort of situations where teachers notice something about students that students don't know about themselves just yet, and just a little push in that direction, and it unearths a hidden talent or a hidden love.
That is so true. But for me, it started even before school. It would be in my church at the St. Paul's Anglican Church, because I was a member of the choir. Of course, my voice part being soprano would be higher pitched, and doing church singing, you know, everything is high pitched. So it really started there. I was able, fortunately, to use my voice also in parts in some of my presentations during my pageants. For Miss St. Kitts Nevis, for the National Carnival Queen pageant, I did more drama. But having won that competition as part of the 25th anniversary of our carnival back then, so 25 years ago, 25 years hence, who knows what's going to happen for 50, that having won that title, I got the opportunity to compete at Miss Carnival in St. Vincent, and I did a Calypso. I did a Calypso.
Was that your first time doing a Calypso on
was
the
my
stage?
second time rendering a Calypso. I did the first one during a Miss Labour competition, which was quite interesting. Sugar Aloes, quite loved it. And then Miss Carnival was where I got, you know, that great opportunity, even greater, larger stage, more audience, more people, to render that selection. About men and women, I don't know, it's something about us. We're always competing.
Going back to the times that we are in, the pandemic, 2020 and into 2021, 2022 now, how has that impacted your creative space, your creativity? How have you been able to navigate the pandemic with your creative writing and creative space?
It's been quite challenging. Having won the competition, the Calypso Monarch last year, I thought I relished the opportunity to be able to compete in Anguilla for the Leeward Islands Calypso competition, because I felt that we had quality material to be able to put down an excellent showing and walk away with that title. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So I got the opportunity to present at the Department of Agriculture's annual conference.
Right.
And following that, I also got the chance to create my own award ceremony, dubbed the Monarchs Choice Awards for Calypso. So as part of the celebrations, I'm not really one to celebrate myself like that, but I challenged my team, if we were to twin this with some sort of a recognition for those who have helped in Calypso over the years, I would be for the celebration. And we got it done. So we were able to award past Calypsonians, persons who are still in the business, persons who are affiliated with Calypso, as part of that Monarch's Choice Award held on February 14th of this year. So it was quite an interesting time for us to have presented that, and now I'm seeing that the Sugar Mass Committee is now creating their awards, dubbed the Sugar Mass Awards, which is quite wonderful.
I was about to say, so that would have been a small-scale Sugar Mass Awards ceremony.
But I believe so. I believe so. And I got to do some other things for Reach for Recovery. I also got the chance to perform at the Culturama.
Right.
The virtual Culturama in Nevis, which was quite interesting.
It's interesting that you led off with the response to the question, because I did have a question about that. I know the regional competitions are where we see almost the creme de la creme of the Caribbean, and that did not happen. So what do you think that the song would have stood up in that competition?
Yes, I believe so, very much so, because it was so relevant. We're in this together, and now in every commercial, I mean, government postings, what have you, you're seeing these words coming to the fore, suggesting to everyone that we need to band together to really overcome these times. And it's important for us to recognize that we have a responsibility to play our part during this period.
I almost missed this question. Now, the winning the Calypso Monarch competition back in 2019, 2020?
2020, last year.
It was your first time, and no, not the first one.
No.
It was your first time. You, in the eliminations, the counting was wrong, the tallying was incorrect, so you were out.
Yes.
And then it was announced that you were back in.
Yes.
It must have been an emotional roller coaster.
Yes,
then
it was.
Top that with being announced the winner,
Right.
somebody who was preliminarily out of the competition. How was that for you?
It was really nerve-wracking, I must say. Emotional, draining, because you had so many persons who had grown to love the song as I went through the rounds, and to hear the reaction from my own mishap on the night of elimination and not having made it into the final. It was disappointing on so many levels. But to have been given wings again, whether a miracle, an act of God, I thank him so much. Whatever the issues were with the mistake, it turned out that a few of us, not just myself, would end up making it into the finals. And at that point, I determined that I would just go and do my best. No pressure on myself, and presented the best that I could. And where the decision turned out, it turned out. And it just so happened it turned in our favor. So we were able to walk away with the title of Calypso Monarch.
How would you say you've grown in predominantly, let's go with Calypso. You've been in many different competitions, you've had to learn many different skills for pageants and performing, because those are arts. How would you say you've grown in
tremendously, tremendously. I mean, having to have been on the stage from the pageant side of things is one thing. Everything is literally prepared for you, and you just have to go out and deliver. With the Calypso arena, it's a little bit more different than the pageant circle. This is about music, making sure that your voice is tuned and ready to go. And I've had some challenges even with my voice, having to keep it crisp. This time of year is quite challenging for me based on the weather and so on. So I have to do extra things to keep my voice sounding clear and perfect.
It is the main instrument.
That's right. So learning my music, being able to sing to music and dance to music, being able to ad-lib at some points in time, entice the audience and get them on your side, it's quite a challenge. But through it all, it has been a worthwhile experience. I've been doing this now for 10 years. And it's quite wonderful. And to cap it all off, for the 50th anniversary, having to come up to try to defend my crown.
From behind the mask.
From behind the mask, of course. It is something that I relish, and I promise my audience, my fans and the public, that you will be in for a show.
All right then. Thank you so much, Queenie G, Gloria Esdell Robinson, for speaking with us during the series of interviews with Sugar Mass 50 personalities. I'm Mervan Thompson, and with me, Queenie G. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Behind the Mask.